Hello Pascal, nice that you have time to have an interview with you. You are the founder of the online newspaper Blockzeit. What was the idea to found the newspaper?
So Blockzeit was founded off the idea that there's not that much information about what's happening in the blockchain industry available, especially in the German market. So I come from the traditional finance industry, and I know every month or every quarter you get reports on the financials and things that happen, you know about the companies. But in the blockchain industry, the companies are so technologically, the information is so technologically heavy that it's really difficult for the everyday person to understand what's going on. And this is where I felt there's a need for a bridge between what is happening in the technology to what the people need to know to be able to invest into crypto or put their money into crypto so they know what's actually going on.
You say there is a bridge needed between the traditional finance and blockchain technology.
Actually, yes, that as well, but I think there's a bridge needed between what is happening in the technology to putting in your money and investing into crypto that is also based on the technology. So there's tons of cryptocurrencies that have no use case, but there's cryptocurrencies that actually have a use case in the blockchain's ecosystem. And so it's very important to know what that use case is and if there's actually a potential for a value increase or not, or if it's just hype, because that's going to change the way you're going to invest into the cryptocurrency, right? If it's only hype, you might want to sell once the hype is over, or maybe you wouldn't even get into it if you were a smart investor. You probably wouldn't even invest into a hype of a cryptocurrency. But if there's actually a use case behind it, then there is potential for a long-term improvement of the value of the cryptocurrency.
Mm-hmm. You have the knowledge about blockchain and crypto. You're coming from traditional finance. How did you get into blockchain technology?
So it's interesting. I dabbled with Bitcoin in 2017. When it was at $4,500, I just checked, saw what it is, invested a little bit of money, and I saw how volatile it was. And after the crash, I was like, okay, this is too much volatility for me. I'm going to stick with traditional finance, and I thought I'll never go back into cryptocurrencies. But then 2020 came, and there was a big hype. I started reading up again, and I started getting involved again with it, with cryptocurrencies and with blockchain and reading up on it. And then that's where I saw actually the potential for that bridge that is needed on information, because that's what I was missing. I was missing that bridge, that information. I noticed that people are investing just for hype and they don't know what the technology is behind it. And so that's where I wanted to come in.
Mm-hmm. And you started with blockchain. What is now the specialty for Blockzeit?
So we started off with blockchain, and then we got into NFTs and Metaverse. The cool thing is we have some writers that are very involved into the NFT world and the Metaverse world. So one of our writers, he's actually an artist himself, and he launched his NFTs himself. And so we can really give the full story on what's happening in the NFT world, because we know, because we have experts in the field. And so that's where we come in, and there's not that many artists that write. So we have a very nice niche there, and especially in the German market that does really well.
Mm-hmm. So you have very good writers. They have the knowledge. They are in the field. They are working themselves on NFTs. And you have the specialists, and they are writing for Blockzeit. Does also the world and maybe Google know that you are here the number one?
Yeah, actually in the German market we rank number one for several of the NFT terms. So we do really well in the German market, especially. The American market is very saturated, so there's a lot of information news and competition going on. But the German market is it's a very big market for us, and so there's a huge need on understanding what NFTs actually are, how we get contacted by a lot of artists. They say what actually creates the value. Like we get contacted with a lot of questions, and so we know there's a big need for it. And since we rank really well for these key terms, we actually we stand out for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. And where are you personally located?
I'm personally located in Zurich, which is very close to Zug, which is Crypto Valley. So we have a huge blockchain ecosystem here. In Zurich, we have Cardano Foundation. Zug has tons of blockchain companies. It's pretty much the center of blockchain. Yeah.
Pascal, where do you see the trends in the blockchain industry?
So I do actually see a lot of movement going towards the Lightning Network and a lot of investments going in there. So I think there's going to be a lot more use cases in integration of Bitcoin, the Bitcoin Lightning Network, and therefore also probably more Bitcoin adoption in the future. I know there's a need for regulations in the crypto industry and the blockchain industry in general. So I think with more regulations, it's going to make the market open towards larger funds who are right now not able to invest or not get involved. So I do see a lot of potential on that side just for Bitcoin. Then I see a lot of movement towards layer 2s. So Ethereum and other layer 1s are very congested and expensive. So layer 2s are booming like crazy. So like Arbitrum, Polygon, Optimism. I know Polygon hired a ton of new developers at the beginning of the year, so they're heavily investing in the technology, which shows me that there's a lot of potential for layer 2s in the future. So in the NFT world, I think the pure art phase is over. I think there's going to be a couple of the top projects that build themselves into brands that are going to stay, but I do see the future more with utility. So there's going to be a lot of utility aspects with NFTs that are going to come up, and people are slowly starting to find out what NFTs can be used for. I think we're still very early in the beginning of the NFT world and what is even possible with it. So I think we're gonna see a lot of cool utility cases and maybe even gaming cases coming up in the future. It's still a world that needs to be developed. And then the same thing with the metaverse. We're so early on. I don't think we even know what's possible, how to integrate it. There's so many NFT worlds popping up. I think they all have to, there's probably going to be a bubble again coming up in that world that's going to burst, and a lot of them will go away, and then we'll know what's actually the value behind it. Yeah.
Thank you very much for your insight into the latest news from blockchain, crypto, NFTs. It would be very interesting going on to interview you, and I have to say thank you, and I hope that the people will follow you on Blockside to get the latest news. How can I go to Blockside? Where can I see it?
So you can just go to blockside.com or follow us on one of our social media channels, also on LinkedIn. But blockside.com, you can find our information, our news in English and German, and now even in Portuguese. So yeah.
Thank you very much, Pascal, and you follow Blockside.